In the small, bustling village of Miradki near Lahore, Pakistan, a child was born who would change the face of justice for exploited children. His name was Iqbal Masih, and his life story would become one that continues to haunt and inspire the world. Iqbal was born to poverty, a familiar story for many in rural Pakistan, yet his was about to take a devastating turn. His father, Iqbal Masih, abandoned the family when Iqbal was only an infant, leaving his mother, Inayat, to care for her children. With the meager income she earned as a cleaner, Inayat struggled to make ends meet, doing what she could. In Pakistan, families living on the edge are often forced to make desperate choices. It was 1986 when that choice came for Iqbal's family. His older brother's wedding required funds the family simply didn't have. In their village, there was a shadowy solution for such problems: moneylenders who were also factory owners. These men provided loans, but the price was high. The borrowers, children, were handed over to work off the debt in what's called bonded labor. For a small sum, 600 rupees, roughly 12, Iqbal was borrowed by the owner of a local carpet factory. Though he was only 4, Iqbal's life of grueling work had begun. Iqbal entered a dark world. The carpet factory, far from the warmth of his family home, was a place of bleakness, exhaustion, and despair. From the moment he was brought in, the innocence of his early years seemed to fade away. His task was simple yet punishingly demanding: to weave carpets, an art that requires delicate precision and focus. His tiny fingers tied hundreds of knots, creating beautiful patterns for distant buyers who would never know the price of these intricate designs. The factory was a prison. 6 days a week, for 14 hours each day, Iqbal would sit on a hard bench, his body hunched over as he worked tirelessly. The air in the room was thick and stifling to prevent the wool from loosening. Silence was enforced. Children weren't allowed to speak. Any break in concentration or attempt at escape was met with punishment. Some children were beaten, others tied to their workbenches. Some were even locked away in closets. Iqbal, like the others, was trapped in a debt that grew every day as interest and charges were added. At 10 years old, after 6 years in the factory, Iqbal's debt had increased to an overwhelming 13,000 rupees, about 260. The factory owner had no intention of releasing him. For children like Iqbal, the debts were manipulated to keep them in bondage. Their freedom slipped further away with every additional fee. But fate had other plans for Iqbal. One day, he heard whispers about an organization called the Bonded Labor Liberation Front, BLF. This group was fighting to end bonded labor, exposing the truth behind the factories, and seeking freedom for those trapped within. Intrigued and determined, Iqbal managed to slip away to attend one of their secret meetings. It was there that he learned a shocking fact. The government of Pakistan had declared bonded labor illegal in 1992. All debts to employers were cancelled. His enslavement, in other words, was not just inhumane. It was illegal. This revelation ignited something within him. With the BELF's help, Iqbal managed to escape from the factory. He obtained the necessary papers to prove his freedom. But Iqbal didn't stop there. Fueled by a fierce resolve, he became a vocal advocate for children's rights. He attended protests, gave speeches, and even went undercover to expose other carpet factories, helping to free countless other children. His bravery and resolve caught the attention of people worldwide. Despite his frail, undersized frame, decimated by years of malnutrition and long hours of labor, Iqbal stood strong. He spoke with unyielding conviction. His message was simple: children should be free, not enslaved. At just 12 years old, Iqbal became an international symbol of hope and resilience. He was invited to the United States, where he received the Reebok Human Rights Award. Here, Iqbal experienced glimpses of the childhood he had missed. He played video games, watched cartoons, and for a moment, he was just a kid. But even in this setting, the memory of the factory and the children left behind never left him. His mission to end child labor grew even stronger. However, Iqbal's fame and activism made him a target. The carpet industry, facing threats to its profits, was not pleased with the boy who dared to speak out. Iqbal received death threats, but he refused to back down, believing that his life's purpose was to fight for others. Then, on a quiet spring day in 1995, tragedy struck. Iqbal had returned home to visit his family for Easter. He and his cousins were out walking along a familiar path when shots rang out. In an instant, Iqbal's life was taken. He was only 12 years old. Official reports suggested that the shooting was an accident involving a local farmer, but many believed otherwise. Whispers spread that the carpet industry had silenced Iqbal, fearing the ripple effect of his truth. His death shocked the world, sparking anger, sadness, and an even stronger call for justice. Around 800 mourners attended his funeral, their grief mingling with a burning resolve to continue the fight Iqbal had started. Though his life was short, Iqbal's impact resonated worldwide, bringing attention to the horrors of child labor. He inspired others to join the battle. Today, Iqbal's story lives on as a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. His legacy has motivated activists, inspired legislation, and brought a spotlight to the plight of millions of children. Iqbal Masih showed the world that even the smallest voices can bring about the loudest changes. He reminds us that every child has the right to freedom, hope, and a future unbound by chains.